Set in 1944, when World War II had ended, Finland and the Soviet Union agreed to a ceasefire and expelled the Nazis from Lapland. However, the Nazis refused to accept their defeat and instead implemented a scorched earth tactic, a military strategy that involves destroying anything that might be useful to the enemy, such as roads, bridges, and towns they pass through. This story focuses on an old man named Atami Korpi, a gold miner in Lapland who seems accustomed to the war environment. Living alone with no relatives, Atami only focuses on finding gold and collecting as much as possible so that he can spend his old age peacefully. Judging by the scars on his body, Atami is no ordinary gold miner. Those scars might have come from something else. While going about his routine, Atami accidentally finds a nugget of gold in a river while sifting sand, giving him hope for his plan to spend his old age peacefully. Until Atami digs a new hole and is surprised to find a chunk of pure gold, which makes him instantly delighted. With so much gold, Atami believes he will get a lot of money, and his dream of living a peaceful life can come true if he can sell all his gold. However, the challenge is not selling the gold, but the distance Atami has to travel to reach the nearest bank, which is 563 miles or over 900 kilometers away. On his journey, Atami encounters a patrol of Nazi soldiers. Cautiously, he passes them. An arrogant soldier named Wolf intends to shoot Atami, but their captain, named Bruno, forbids Wolf from shooting as it would be a waste of ammunition. Bruno thinks that the direction Atami is headed will only lead to his death, because there are his men behind who will take care of the old man. And sure enough, 4 of Bruno's men who were patching a tire see Atami approaching. They arrogantly stop Atami and search the bag he is carrying, where they find so much gold. Instantly they are stunned, and when Atami is forced to kneel to be shot dead, Atami becomes very angry and kills the soldiers there. They meet a gruesome and humiliating end for underestimating the old man whose background they did not know. Hearing the unusual gunfire, Bruno turns around and checks what happened. When he arrives, Bruno is shocked to see his men lying dead in a gruesome state. While examining his men, Bruno finds a piece of gold taken by one of them and thinks about taking it for himself, planning to chase Atami and seize all his gold. Atami then enters a minefield that causes his horse and gold to scatter, and Atami is thrown. When Bruno and his men arrive, he allows Atami to collect the gold. Atami then detonates a mine to obscure Bruno's view with dust, and Bruno ordered one of his men to advance, but that soldier was killed by a landmine thrown by Atami. However, it didn't stop there. Bruno ordered 2 of his men to advance from the side, but Atami disappeared without a trace. Bruno found Atami's fallen necklace, picked it up, and continued his pursuit of Atami. Fearing more landmines, Bruno made the female prisoners clear the path to ensure it was safe. While Bruno was in a tank, contacting his general, both Bruno and Wolf were shocked when the general ordered them to return to Norway. They were incredibly fortunate to encounter Atami still alive, revealing a trusted source's fact that Atami was a highly feared Finnish commando. Known for his ruthlessness and vengefulness, he was driven by the loss of his family during the Winter War with the Russians, becoming an uncontrollable soldier assigned to battlefields alone, slaughtering 300 Russian soldiers, earning the reputation of an immortal legend. Bruno, aware of Atami's background and instructed by his general to return to base, was tempted by the sight of Atami's gold nugget. The desire to possess it made Bruno disregard all the facts about Atami and recklessly take the risk. With no compensation after the war, he would likely face execution for losing. Injured by the landmine explosion and with a gunshot wound, Atami hid behind a burning car. When Bruno and his men passed by, Atami crawled under the car undetected, dousing himself in gasoline to mask his scent from the tracking dogs. Once again, Atami did the unimaginable by setting himself on fire to escape, diving into the river. Bruno, not willing to lose the gold, sent his men to find Atami, but they died in vain, clearing Atami's path across the river. Finally, Atami neared the bank he aimed for, filled with hope. However, he was shocked to find the nearest town completely leveled by Bruno and his cronies. Atami took a moment to rest at a burnt-out gas station, contemplating his next move. Shortly after, Bruno arrived at the burned gas station. Atami's dog, rigged with a bomb by Bruno, appeared searching for him. Ultimately, Atami was captured, and all the gold in his bag was taken by Bruno. Atami was hung from a pole until he nearly died. However, as Bruno and his men left, Atami pretended to be dead by holding his breath and tensing his neck muscles to reduce the risk of death. He planted his feet on a protruding metal piece to lighten the load on his neck. Atami's luck hadn't run out yet. A low-flying fighter plane tilted the pole, freeing Atami. The plane was piloted by a Nazi soldier searching for gasoline. Atami quickly killed a soldier who saw him alive. Initially thinking of abandoning his gold and burying his dream of a peaceful life, Atami saw the Nazi plane and an idea sparked in his mind. Before executing his plan, Atami cleaned and treated his wounds painfully, even shocking the observing Nazi soldier with the intense way he stitched his wounds using wire without any anesthesia. Meanwhile, Bruno, thinking he had won and planning to flee the Nazi military with the gold, was intercepted by a Nazi fighter plane. The pilot was dead, tied with a rope, which turned out to be Wolf's rope used to hang Atami. Realizing something was wrong, Bruno ordered his men to leave immediately. Now they were the hunted instead of the hunters, filled with fear and anxiety. Adding to their terror, a female prisoner confirmed that Atami Korpi was indeed the legendary soldier who single-handedly slaughtered 300 Russian soldiers. The female prisoners, aware of Atami's reputation, collaborated to eliminate a truckload of Nazi soldiers. Atami climbed onto a tank, using a crowbar to lure Bruno out. Wolf arrogantly challenged Atami, but was pulled out and fell. Terrified, Wolf begged Atami for mercy. Ignoring him, Bruno continued to flee, leaving Wolf behind. Bruno's remaining soldier, expected to help Wolf, found themselves in a dire situation. They then fled, and Atami left them behind. Upon reaching his destination and seeing the arrival of his escape plane, Bruno prepared to leave, even killing his last remaining soldier. But Atami, on a motorcycle, performed seemingly impossible stunts. Atami entered the plane, leading to a fierce fight. Meanwhile, Wolf, who thought he had escaped danger, was confronted by vengeful prisoners he had humiliated. In the plane, Atami, cornered by Bruno, endured whipping with a seatbelt. Bruno made a fatal error because Atami had secretly hooked him to a bomb, which was then dropped and exploded, inevitably killing Bruno. And the pilot was accidentally shot by Atami as the plane took off, causing engine failure. Unyielding, Atami strapped himself with the seatbelt to minimize injury or death from the crash. Miraculously, Atami survived, standing tall with his recovered gold-laden bag. He rode to the bank on a motorcycle with his dog. Upon entering, the guards and people made way for Atami, likely due to his intimidating presence, recognizing him as Atami Korpi, the living legend. Atami entered and laid out all the gold he had, demanding payment for it, ultimately reclaiming his gold and ensuring a peaceful life in his old age. And the film ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.